Good evening. Well, week 3 of the Barclays Women's Super League, and we continue to wonder whether the excitement and the drama of the opening rounds will be matched once again. And spoiler alert for you, it does. Two sides with high hopes heading into the season, but yet to hit their stride. Arsenal hosted Aston Villa. A Merseyside derby at Anfield, where the Blue of Everton have been the dominant force in recent meetings. And West Ham travelled across the capital in search of a first ever WSL win against Chelsea. All that and plenty more to come in the company of two Barclays WSL greats, Farrah Williams and Gilly Flaherty. We're going to start the programme, though, at the Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal, without a win from their opening 2 matches, faces an Aston Villa side yet to pick up a point. Commentary comes from Rachel Brown-Finnis, but first, Robin Cowan.
It's 5 changes from the Arsenal side that drew with the Manchester United. Manuela Zinsberger returns in goal. It's a back four with Lotte Wubben-Moy in place of Jen Beattie. Frida Marnham starts, while Katie McCabe makes her 200th appearance for Arsenal. Caitlin Ford draws up her century. They both join the front line in support of Alessia Russo, and Beth Mead is named on the bench in the WSL for the first time since suffering her ACL injury in November last year. 3 changes from the defeat to Liverpool for Villa. Simone McGill starts for the first time in the WSL after a serious knee injury during the Euros last summer. Laura Blinkiller-Brown also returns for former Arsenal midfielder Jordan Nobbs, who drops to the bench. Mas Pacheco is fit to start and comes into the back line. Kenta Dali is still out with injury, and Kirsty Hansen is serving the second game of her 3-match suspension. And before kick-off, we will observe a moment's silence for the innocent victims of the devastating events in Israel and Palestine. Our thoughts are with those around the world who are feeling the effects. Villa back in a good shape. Now Catley to her Australian teammate Caitlin Ford. Goes on the outside this time. It's an awkward one for Van Domselaar. Couldn't hold it. And Mas Pacheco made the clearance just a yard off the goal line.
Oh, Van Domselaar made a mess of that one. Gets a little nick off the defender and it's dipping down and goes under Domselaar.
Mailing. That's good front foot play from Sarah Mailing. Delicate touch from Rachel Daly. Zinsberger has come, but Kim Little didn't want to take any chances, and it's a first corner of the game for Aston Villa.
Really good work from Simone McGill as the ball was fired into her. No risk football from Kim Little in her defensive duties.
Staniforth delivers. Oh, Pacheco! Villa in front! It's a towering header. First corner of the game, and it results in the first goal of the game. Arsenal behind again, and Mas Pacheco has just her second WSL goal in her career. It was worth the wait.
Oh, wow, what a goal. I mean, just completely unmarked. Everything negative about Arsenal this season has been about defensively. And Carla Ward probably preempted they would concede possession, but they get their chance on set pieces, and that's exactly what they've done.
And now, just like on the opening day of the season here at the Emirates, Arsenal's opponents have something to hold on to. Now taken by Daly. Oh, and that's a swipe from Rachel Daly. A frustration. I think she was indicating that she couldn't see.
Seemed a little petulant, if nothing else.
Catley delivers towards Valti, and Russo, and off the line, and the block from Turner. Heroic stuff at the back for Aston Villa.
And there's a player down. Is it Rachel Daly? Part of that joint effort to keep the ball out of the Villa net.
Will we see Beth Mead? It's going to give the crowd a huge lift. Maritz, no one closing her down. Time to measure the cross. Caitlin Ford rose but couldn't direct it on target. Here's Kim Little. Into Ford. Rolls it off the post. Oh, and Russo couldn't turn it in. That looked like a touch from Van Domselaar.
What a save this is. Caitlin Ford rolls a defender, and Domselaar thinks it's in. She sat down, but it rebounds into her domain. She's able to react and scoop the ball away just in time as it goes back there. Scoop it away from Russo.
It'll be a bouncing bus home if it stays like this.
And also substitution, 61 minutes.
A fitting reception for the return of Beth Mead. McLaughlin shows good strength. No foul. Ford. Oh, there it is! Katie McCabe fires in the equaliser for the Gunners. The pressure finally tells, and they want more. They want a winner.
What a strike from Katie McCabe, a lovely overlap. Nothing that any positioning or defensive setup could do about that. Van Domselaar gets to a near post, but the sheer velocity of this rocket from Katie McCabe, and we know she only ever scores bangers.
Sometimes you just got to get your foot through it. The relief palpable. A touch from Mead, sets Blackstenius away! Off the post for the second time.
Well, you wonder with Blackstenius and Russo up top, with Katie McCabe in that advanced left position, if they'd have played more of the game like this, how many more difficulties are they offering to Aston Villa? Now it's wave after wave of attack.
Ruben Moy. Into Mead. Russo! Her first WSL goal for Arsenal. She might have just saved Arsenal. Set up by their returning number 9.
And with having Beth Mead with that connection of Russo that they've had with England, Beth Mead draws her player, slips it infield to Russo, who has the better option. It's poor goalkeeping from Daphne Van Domselaar. It squirms underneath her. A solid strike from Russo.
All over. 3 points for Arsenal, but this means so much more. Their first win of the season. They faced adversity. They've had to come from a goal down. They kept going. They kept their belief. And eventually they came out with the win. Full time at the Emirates. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 1.
It was very much about how can we keep having that control? How can we put more and more pressure onto them? Using both the crowd and our qualities as a really good foundation to do that, and I think that was what second half was about.
If we talk about that first goal, I mean, you guys have probably analysed it, middle of the park, but look, I won't talk about anything other than pride from our players tonight. 12 minutes added on is absolutely ludicrous, but that's sadly the reality of the WSL this year, all football this year. But like I said, listen, my players were excellent today, they really were, and if we carry on in this manner, results will come.
It's mentally and physically been torture throughout. It's been a long one, and yeah, I've had amazing teammates, fans, family, friends, everyone around me to get me through. So that's why you play today, to feel as special as this, especially at the Emirates, a place where I did my ACL. So yeah, it was nice to get this game out of the way, get that done, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah, so good to see Beth Mead back on the pitch for Arsenal. Now, Gilly, you were at this game. Firstly, I bet the atmosphere in the Emirates was a lot better by the end. What a finish.
Yeah, I said that the best part of the game was the 12 minutes extra time, because it just sort of, it come alive. I think the onus' subs changed the game. I thought they brought a lot of energy on and just more movement. But yeah, as the minutes went on and extra time come, you could see how deeper Aston Villa were going, and they was tiring. And Arsenal just capitalised on that. OK, well, let's take a look at how Aston Villa did take the lead in this game. Before this point, Arsenal had over 70% possession. It was a bit of an unlikely goal scorer for the visitors, wasn't it, Farah?
It was Maz Pacheco, left back, comes up. But you see here, you can see the mark here and how she finds herself available for a free header inside the 6-yard box or just outside of it. You know, you've got to, as Arsenal players, they've got to look individually as roles and responsibilities, because I can assure you, when you play at Arsenal, you will go through your set pieces before the game. You will know what role you've got. But you saw there in the clip, Russo and Caitlin Ford, they got confused. They both ended up marking the same player, which was Rach Daly, who made the near post run, which left Maz Pacheco free at the back post and a free header, but a really good contact and a good finish from her.
Arsenal did have the majority of the possession. Villa defended really well. Or do we actually need to say that, as good as Villa were defensively, maybe it was Arsenal also some of their decision making?
Yeah, I mean, I felt if you looked at how Villa defended last week against Liverpool, this was a much improved performance defensively. But I think with Arsenal, I felt they was very static, and I felt that their movement, they was already in the box when the ball was coming in. There was no late runs, there was no second plan movement. So it was sort of easy for Villa to defend, because you got some great headers of the balls back there as well, and very good defenders. But for me, it was just, I just think Arsenal's movement wasn't that creative.
I think it was a bit of both. I think we've seen this season how compact defensively we can see here, and how well organised Aston Villa have been. You know, the opening game against Manchester United, again, really good. We've seen here today they can do it again against a top team. But I do think for Arsenal, I think, you know, certainly they rushed and forced a lot of their possession and chances, and they didn't really, you know, like this was probably, the cutback here was probably one of the best balls into the box. I think, as Gilly mentioned, when they brought their subs into the game, they started to have better movement, better connections in that final third, which really then disjointed the Aston Villa backline, and then we saw the goals come really late from that.
We did see the goals come really late, and let's start with the goal from Katie McCabe. We'll come on to a potential foul in the build-up in a minute, Gilly, but she doesn't score average goals, does she?
No, I mean, it's an absolute stunning strike, to be fair, but you look at where she's here now. She keeps going, and the Aston Villa defenders don't recognise that. No one steps out of the line to go and put pressure. I think initially they think she's going to put the ball across the box for someone else, but obviously she takes it on her own. But it's great movement in, and it's that will to get into the box even in the final few minutes. And I mean, what a finish. I don't think any keeper's stopping that either. OK, then this is a potential foul in the build-up, Farah. What did you make of it?
I think it's a foul, but I've seen plenty of replays of it, so I've had plenty of opportunities to look and correct what I believe was a foul in the build-up, and Carla Ward, rightly so, you know, frustrated with the decision going against her. But I think from the referee's position and how the ball rolls across, she probably actually can't see that she's made no contact, because the ball rolls in the direction of where the tackle's coming. So it looks as if she's won the ball, which has led to obviously the goal. But I can understand the frustration. We don't have VAR in the games. Lots of decisions, you know, managers are asking for. And it's difficult at the moment in a women's game.
Yes, OK, well, Alessia Russo did get the winner, and you felt she deserved this for her overall performance.
I did, because I said early on, I felt like Arsenal forced a lot of their play and no one really took responsibility to make anything happen. I felt she was one of the ones that tried to do that at every opportunity. She tried to rock. She was tightly marked, by the way, so every opportunity she was trying to get herself rolled and carry the ball forward. We see there, this is a really good example. She's going down into the channel and actually recognises nobody's in the box, but she doesn't want to go back. You'll see her here, she doesn't want to go back. She wants to put herself into the box, into a danger area. Yes, not the greatest of crosses, but you could see that she was being really positive in her play. And we'll see here now, when Blackstenius comes on, you see her drop a little bit deeper. Normally she'd be higher on that back line, and finds herself in a position, and Beth Mead returning to the game, sets her up. And look, it's a great goal for Russo to get her off the mark for Arsenal, but for me, you know, goalkeepers must think I hate them, but I'm going to question Dom Seller here because she has to do better. She has to save this, in my opinion. The distance it's come from, the speed it went at her, Gilly. I mean, we're not goalkeepers, but would you agree or disagree that she has to save it?
Yeah, I completely agree. You're getting the GK union against me now as well. No, but I completely agree with that. And I think the distance it was as well, it seems like it's going to be an easy save and it just goes straight underneath her.
No points for Aston Villa this afternoon again. Are we seeing improvements though? Is Carla Ward right? Because on this programme last week, we kind of showed her saying, people are saying we can break into the Champions League places, we can challenge at the top, but we're not playing like that at the moment. Did you see more from that this afternoon?
Yeah, and I think because obviously I was watching the game as well, obviously the previous week against Liverpool, for me they were poor all over the pitch. And she was very honest after the game and said that's the worst performance that she's seen and my players weren't good enough. And today it was like a completely different Aston Villa. So I think if they can take that performance into the future games, obviously a big game against Tottenham coming up as well, the points will start to come.
OK, well, after a brilliant start to the campaign, securing maximum points so far, Liverpool were back at Anfield for their Merseyside clash with Everton, having lost their previous 2 matches there to the Toffees. Now, this is a derby that continues to capture the imagination of an entire city.
2 sides with deep rivalries.
It's Derby Day. It's Derby Day.
A Merseyside derby on this historic turf.
Feisty, aggressive, passion.
Hot to make it 2! She does so brilliantly.
Merseyside is blue.
Benison could make it 3. The brilliantly worked goal from Everton.
Merseyside is red.
Holland almost was the hero.
Intensity.
Intense. Dengle! Great goal!
The Merseyside derby.
A magnificent Merseyside derby.
Commentary of Liverpool versus Everton from Anfield comes from Ben Andrews.
Here's the team news. Win and Liverpool go 2 points clear. Matt Beard rested half his side for the midweek cup game. They're all back here, but there is also a debut for the big summer signing, Sophie Hove. She replaces Daniels in attack. That's the only change from the last league match. Clark and Fisk are new to that back three this season, and they're making a difference already. There's no Piemonte for Everton, but last season's top scorer, Katja Snoys, is back on the bench, and they will probably need her. Nicoline Sorensen comes in to start, while Hope, Payne and Benison returned, having not started in their midweek cup game. Derby Day at Anfield, what a great stage for a great game. Here we go to wrap up what's already been a seriously lively Barclays Women's Super League weekend. Hope already looks in trouble here. Whistle went for the foul. Looks like she's struggling here, Lucy Hope. Caught there by Missy Bo-Kearns. It's 11 seconds, in fact, when that Missy Bo-Kearns challenge came in on her. Must have been an awkward twist on the ankle. No one ever expects to be called from the bench as early as this in a game. Nagano, the glue in the Liverpool midfield, absolutely brilliant. So often starts attacks by stopping other teams' attacks. Here comes Hines. Oh, what a chance! Cairns for Liverpool inside 3.5 minutes. But the flag was up on Missy Bo-Kearns. Oh, goodness me, that is tight. Extraordinary start to this game. An injury and a hair's breadth borderline goal ruled out. And you can tell he's seen it and he feels robbed. Maybe it'll be eased if they get the win. Oh, given away. Oh, what an effort that is! Just not going for Liverpool here. Kerry Holland with a thunderbolt off the bar. What a hit. After Heather Payne just dawdled on the ball. Holland always so busy. There was a finger on it, you know. Galley has left it. Lovely little dummy. Laws has made a save now. There's the chop back from Nicolene Sørensen. Deep corner, free header, 1-0 Everton. And it's the skipper, Megan Finnegan. All that justified talk about Liverpool's newfound solidity at the back. Finnegan barely had to get off the ground to head that home. Liverpool thought they'd scored inside a couple of minutes. With half an hour played, they're behind. That is just too simple. Losing blue. So far untroubled since the restart, for sure. Here's Bissell. And then Bonner. Had to do that. It's a very crowded 6-yard box. Look at that. Nothing like when Liverpool are attacking, they were hanging back, but Everton going in there. It's worked for them already, and they've got another player free again here. And Van Havermaet has nodded it wide. And Liverpool get away with it this time. They didn't in the first half, but another corner and more defensive issues. Snoys versus Clark here. That's a rare save for Rachel Laws, and a firm one and an important one. Keeps Liverpool in the game. Nice little shift and a firm hit. Straight enough to make it pretty comfortable for Laws. They might be in again. Snoys, nice first touch. Oh, it's off the bar. Out of nowhere, 2 chances in a couple of minutes for Katja Snoys, both of which would have surely settled the points here. Lawley away from Snoys. Hines, first time straight at Heather Payne, and the Everton bench are screaming for the game to stop because it's a head injury. And wouldn't that be hugely controversial? And look at Courtney Brosnan here as Lundgaard fires it over. Everton's keeper comes flying out at Abby Byrne, saying, why didn't you stop the game? 6 minutes added on here, and more beyond, for sure, because we don't know how long this will take for Heather Payne. But she took all of that on the chin, and then it dropped here for Lundgaard. Look at the reaction from Courtney Brosnan. Do you think that's a yellow card? Yes, I think so. Fisk urged on, and look at the red shirts that are bobbing on in front of her. Holland with the flick, and it's a good one. Flint goes for goal and skims the roof of it, but the wrong side of the roof from her point of view. That was a riser that looked set for the top corner. Cracking hit from Natasha Flint. What a goal that would have been. Might as well all get up there in the box. Lundgaard, delicate ball and a good one for Enderby. Will there be time for the corner? There will. Yeah, what about the time, says Brian Sørensen. Good luck with that. Rachel Laws is up. Liverpool need a hero. Into Fisk. And glancing wide. And that is that. Everton burst the Liverpool bubble, and they have done it at Anfield again. Liverpool 0, Everton 1.
Started the game really well. I felt we was in control first 15-20 minutes. Had a perfectly good goal disallowed, which frustrating.
The first 5, we were a little all over the place. Lucky that goal was offside, but then I think we started playing our game, and we sorted out. Actually felt we could have scored a second one too, yeah, but we didn't. But I'm happy.
Really disappointed to concede on a set play, but we should have been given a free kick in the build-up to that. Grace Fisk gets pushed. I just think the refereeing and officiating today has had a massive impact in the result.
So 4 Merseyside derbies at Anfield and 4 wins for Everton. Overall, did they deserve it for you, Farah?
I think either team could have edged it. I think on the balance of play, pretty an even game. I think both teams lacked a little bit of quality in the final third. I think Liverpool probably had the better of the chances, although Everton did hit the bar later on in the game. But I think that was against the run of play a little bit, where Liverpool were dominating the game in the final third.
Yeah, Liverpool did start really brightly, and they thought they'd taken the lead in this one. Born and bred red, Missy Bo Kearns, with quite the celebration after it as well. She thought that this was going to stand. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really difficult. I think obviously Beardy's come out and said that he thinks it's a goal and she's clearly onside. I think if you look at it, it is very tight with Heather Payne, who's closest to Taylor Hines. But I think for the lineswoman who's the other side, who's behind that, I don't think she can see Heather Payne. So I think it's really difficult for her to say if she's onside. In my opinion, I think it's very, very close.
You know what, it's funny because I do always criticise the officials. And look, if we had VAR, I think they give that as offside. So I think it's an absolute spot-on decision. But I can understand Beardy's frustration because in game, I mean, it's marginal. So to see that, it's a perfect decision, I would say. I think if you was to look at VAR on that and really draw the lines, I think Missy Kearns is slightly offside. So I can understand the frustration because the fourth officials, or sorry, assistant lines people have never been up with play and made good decisions like that, and that was a good one for me.
Breaking news. Farah Williams praises officials here on the Women's Football Show. Matt Beard was also left frustrated with Everton's goal because he actually felt there was a foul in the build-up to this as well. What did you think, Julie?
Yeah, I mean, me being a fellow centre-back, I'm saying that's a foul because obviously Garley's pushed Grace Fisk and she stopped her from challenging for the header, which ultimately then causes the corner to come. But it's poor marking from Liverpool for me. It's really poor. You've got 2 players really free at the back post. Everyone's ball watching. No one's really got an idea at all where the back post runners are.
No, I would agree. I think initially the contact on Grace Fisk, there was some there. I mean, don't get me wrong, there wasn't much in it, but it's still a foul, in my opinion. It's obviously led to a corner. But I think Beardy's frustration should be more with, as Julie mentioned, the organisation of Liverpool defending that corner for me was poor. And as you said, there was 2 free at the back post. It was a deep corner, and it didn't get dealt with. So I think his frustration should be more of his players not dealing with the set play.
He was probably also pretty frustrated at the chances that they had, or maybe the chances that they didn't create with the possession that they did have. What were they missing today in the final third?
I think it was just that little bit of extra quality. Obviously, me and Farah spoke about it as well. You could see, obviously, a lot of these chances, they're snatching at it. Obviously, here, there's clearly no contact whatsoever for that to be a penalty, but they were just rushing, you know, and I think obviously that is that desperation of we're losing again in the Merseyside derby at Anfield, we need to get a goal, and it's just the lack of quality that they had in the final third.
You could see it. I think these chances are when they are that goal down, and it is forced in, and they are 50-50 percentage passes for Liverpool to fight for. You can see it's just snatched that. She's dragged the shot wide, Flint there. She gets another one later on. I think it might be this one where it comes. No, this isn't the one. This is Mel Lawley again. You know, the ball's over. She showed no composure with the finish, but Flint had another chance. You know, an even better one where she just hits it from distance, and there was just that little bit of composure needed in the final third to create something clear cut.
Yeah, well, Everton did hold on for the win. There were big celebrations at full time. And Farah, really nice to see another addition celebrating there with Tony Duggan.
It is, because it was this time last year where Tony was keeping her pregnancy and the baby a secret from her teammates, and everybody thought she was missing the derby through injury. And look, although she's played for Everton for much of her career, went away and come back, she's a massive Liverpool fan. So to win at Anfield will be a big moment for her, and the baby there to celebrate with them.
Yeah, the baby cried a lot at first, but then was quite happy.
I'd cry as well being at Anfield.
OK, well, Saturday's fixture saw West Ham travel to Chelsea, looking to end a run of 8 straight defeats to the Blues. Mark Scott was watching on.
Millie Bright. Lauren James gives chase. Lawrence is getting up in support. James always a danger when cutting inside, and that is a very big chance by Sam Kerr's standards. Her first start of the season for the Australian superstar. James knew exactly where she would be making the run to. May have just drifted offside. Well, Thiago Silva amongst the crowd. One of the Chelsea men's players have played at Stamford Bridge already this season, the home of the men's team, Chelsea women. 2-1 victory against Spurs. Now for the first time this season it's back to their other home. Shimizu. Oh, risky and could be costly. Kirby. Charles. Kerr. She wasn't going to miss that one. Sam Kerr back in the starting lineup and back amongst the goals. Charles with an absolute peach of a ball to the back stick, and Kerr did the rest, as she so often does. It's a pinpoint header to punish poor West Ham play. And West Ham's confidence and the resolute nature in which they were defending seems to have been weakened, and again they've given it away. It's Kirby, and now James! Great save by Arnold. Oh, Mackenzie Arnold there with a massive save for West Ham. But Lauren James will feel that she shouldn't have even given the Australian the opportunity to make the block. Congested 6-yard box for Musovic to deal with. In from Lisa Evans. Back in, and Musovic has to help that over the top. That's the first real save that she's had to make this evening. And it was dropping in until Musovic got a hand to it. Lovely stuff. And Lauren James, for a minute there, looked like she had given Chelsea a 2-0 lead. He'd have backed her to have found the net from there. Charles. Nusken. Cuthbert to put the seal on it. Game over. Great goal from Erin Cuthbert to wrap up the win for Chelsea. Well, the last goal that she scored was as a sub against West Ham in May, and she's come on from the bench to score against them this evening as well. That's 4 goals in her last 7 WSL games now for the Scot, and it was a really great 1-2 that sliced the Hammers backline open, and the very calm finish. Beaver-Jones. It's Aggie Beaver-Jones! Almost an absolute beauty. Mackenzie Arnold with the tip over the top to deny Beaver-Jones a top strike.
I think when you come away from Chelsea and you're disappointed not to get any points based on the way that we started the game and the chances that we had in the first half, it says a lot. You know, we obviously had a fantastic performance again, carried on doing the things that we've been working really hard on.
They started really well, but once we got that first goal, we were able to get a bit more rhythm and then probably let a bit too many transitions go, but second half I think we controlled it better. I've been working on sort of sticking it in the good areas, and Sam has one shot and she buries it, and I think that it's very lucky for me to sort of have those players to cross to.
I thought in the first half we struggled to break them down and create enough clear-cut chances, but credit to them in the way they defended. I thought once we made changes in the second half, everything went up a step, and I think the last 25-30 minutes is something for us to build on, and we deserve the second goal.
Well, Chelsea have now won 26 of their last 27 home matches in the WSL. They're pretty formidable at home, Farah, as I know you enjoy watching. But did you agree with Emma Hayes there that the last 20-30 minutes is a bit more what she would want from Chelsea and what you'd want from Chelsea as well?
Definitely, I think they've had a really slow start. I think even the opening game against Spurs, when they won that game at Stamford Bridge, we saw, and they were lucky last week against Manchester City, a lot went for them in that game. So I think they've started the season really slowly, but they have so many internationals coming back from a World Cup. We've seen with Arsenal, we've seen with the top teams, it's actually mentally quite draining for players. performers in terms of rest and then to go again. And some of their top players, like Sam Kerr, has been out for a long, long time. She only had a few minutes in the World Cup, so she's rusty, and we could see that in her performance. The fact she got her goal, and we've seen that the last 20 minutes of Chelsea, I think it gives them a lot of confidence going forward.
You've done this before. Let's see Sam Kerr's goal then, because as Farah said then, she had a number of chances, and before this, she actually had one ruled out for offside, but good to see her from a Chelsea point of view back amongst the goals.
Yeah, and I always say that I always bank on Sam Kerr. You put a ball in like that into the box, on her head, for me, she scores 99% of those chances, and I think obviously it's a great delivery from Niamh Charles. A little bit of naivety defending from Shannon Cook for West Ham, because she follows the ball, and I know playing against Sam Kerr, you do not let her free in the box like that. But she obviously still has to do the business and puts it in the opposite corner to Mackenzie Arnold.
So West Ham's wait for a win against Chelsea goes on. You've just talked there even about playing against Sam Kerr as well. Did you feel like today was a better performance from them? Of course, they've got Rianne Skinner there in charge. Did you feel like they gave themselves the best possible chance that they have ever done in the past against the Blues?
Yeah, and I felt that's the best I've seen West Ham play,
Really?
especially against Chelsea. Normally when they go and play at Kingsmeadow, they sit in, they try and catch Chelsea on the counter, a lot of turnover, but this was completely different. They were brave in playing out from the back, but they had the quality. A lot of it was 1-2 touch as well, but the movement, they was positive with the ball all the time, and I think if they just had a bit of extra quality in the final third, I do think they could have really troubled Chelsea and potentially scored as well.
Are you enjoying watching them under Rianne Skinner now? Are you starting to see an identity?
Yeah, and I think they had a tough season last season, and I think they was in a really bad place, and spoke to a lot of players yesterday who just said it couldn't have got any worse. So for them, Rianne Skinner coming in, it was a fresh start, and I think she just brought a bit of organisation to the team, which you're seeing there.
Niamh Charles was player of the match. I think you might have picked her as player of the match, actually, Gilly. But how important is she to the way that Emma Hayes wants Chelsea to play? Because when you watch Chelsea, it feels like she is everywhere.
She is. She's got a lot of energy. She's a young player. I think what Emma's done well with her, I think, is matured her as a player over the period of time she's been there. She hasn't just thrown her in games where she's going to get swallowed up. I think she's bedded her into the team, and in a really, really good positive way, where now she feels like she's important and valued in this team. And you can see here the energy level she brought. She was up and down this left-hand side. I even think her control running without the ball and coming onto the ball from speed has changed. You saw the delivery for Sam Kerr's goal, the speed that she comes onto it and then slows herself down and controls the delivery has improved massively over the last couple of seasons for sure.
So Farah's complimented officials, and Farah's agreed with another pundit on the show, because you agree with the selection of her as player of the match. These things...
No, I don't agree. No, I don't.
She's scared of me, that's why.
Yeah, look how far away I'm sat.
Things I never thought I'd see, let alone on television. Anyway, let's round up the remaining matches, starting with high-flying Leicester's trip to Manchester United. Flo Pollock can bring us the best of the action.
Manchester United were one of 3 teams to name the same starting 11 in both Barclays WSL matches this season, but they suffered an early setback in the 9th minute on Sunday when they lost defender Gabby George to injury. The hosts quickly recovered and began to dominate the play. World Cup Golden Boot winner Hinata Miyazawa coming closest when her effort struck the underside of the bar. Leicester may have been second best for large periods, but they snatched the lead on 60 minutes. Aileen Whelan finding herself unmarked after a deflected free kick. Manchester United responded well and equalised through Maya Letizia. Set-piece specialist Katie Zellam with the assist. Nikita Paris had the chance to win it for the hosts in stoppage time, but her effort fell kindly to Janina Leitzig in the Leicester goal. 1-1 the final score.
I actually said I would take losing the game if we play our way, because I think long term we'll get a lot more out of it. But we played our way and took a point, and I think what that means is hopefully the players are no longer scared of badges, because I feel that happens a lot when teams play the top 4.
Credit to Willie and Leicester, but from our perspective we have to be more ruthless. Like, there are times towards the end of the game where we're trying to play around the box, and we've got to be a little bit more direct.
Bristol City had conceded 42 goals in their last 12 away matches in the Barclays WSL, and they found themselves behind inside 10 minutes against Manchester City. Summer signing Jill Roord with her first home goal for the club. The hosts continued to control the play and added a second just after the half-hour mark. Alex Screamer with the set piece, Leia Alexandri with the deft header. When Manchester City are in the mood for goals, Bunny Shaw usually has a hand in proceedings. And the Jamaican international collected her first league goal of the season when she connected with Mary Fowler's floated cross. It got even worse for Bristol City in first half stoppage time. Fowler, again the provider, roared, rising highest for her second of the afternoon. On the stroke of half-time, Shaw claimed her brace when Kaylin Marquise parried Chloe Kelly's cross. 5-headed goals and a dominant performance from Gareth Taylor's side.
Impressed with a 5-0 win. We probably could have made it a few more in the second half, but clean sheet is always something to be happy about. And yeah, we move on to the next one.
Tottenham were winless in their last 19 Barclays WSL matches when conceding first. So when Elizabeth Turlin netted on 8 minutes for Brighton, the signs didn't look good. Despite enjoying most of the possession, Spurs lacked any cutting edge. They eventually made the breakthrough though just before half-time. Drew Spence with the effort off the crossbar, Martha Thomas reacting first to beat Nikki Everard. In a tight second half, the sides could not be separated. That was until a moment of magic from Grace Clinton on the 65th minute gave Spurs the advantage. With Brighton committing players forward in search of an equaliser, Rhea Percival wrapped up the win for Tottenham deep into stoppage time. A second successive league win for Robert Villaham's side.
I'm very pleased with the players today. I mean, they score a goal in the second or third minute and that can affect a team, but we just keep playing and playing the style we want to do and, you know, break them down, and we scored a goal before the first half time, and that's a really good goal to get. But I still think we played a brilliant football in the first half, and second half they tried to switch formation and players, but we just kept going, and I think I'm very pleased with the team.
Yeah, another big win for Spurs. We'll talk about that in just a moment. We have to focus, Farah, on the Leicester. Another huge point for them against Manchester United. It was really interesting hearing Willie Kirk talk about the style that he wants them to play there.
Yeah, I mean, you keep hearing Willie Kirk say in his interviews, which really makes me laugh, that at this point last season we hadn't picked up a point, and yeah, they've got 7, and they've had a really strong start against teams they wouldn't normally pick points up against. I think you heard in the interview he mentioned about the badge and the top 4, and now hopefully his players won't have that psychological fear factor when coming up against him. They've put Man United under a lot of pressure in this game and performed really well, but he's always had an identity, Willie Kirk, and he's he's a fantastic manager, and I think now he's got a group of players that are his own that he's been able to bring in. I think that they're going to be a lot higher up the table than people would have predicted at the beginning of the season, for sure.
Defensively, how impressive was it from them today? Maybe not for the goal that they eventually conceded to Manchester United, but before then and the rest of the game, they really restricted them.
Yeah, and I think since Willie Kirk's come in, Leicester have always defended really well. I think that's what he done. He got them organised, he got them compact, he got them putting their bodies on the line, where before he come in they was very, very open. And I think that's starting to show. But obviously now he's had longer, obviously they've had good recruitment as well in the summer. But they're making it hard to beat, and obviously I think what they lacked last year was an out-and-out goal scorer, but because they created chance, but they didn't have that finishing product, where now he seems to have got a good blend in the whole team.
Yeah, disappointment for Manchester United dropping points. As for Manchester City, Farah, well, 5 headers. That is, in fact, 2 more headed goals than any side had previously scored in a single WSL game. Poor Bristol City, but how ruthless were they today? And do you feel like they're seriously showing, even at this early stage, just how serious they are about a title charge?
Yeah, I think they've been the standout team, the standout performer, Manchester City, in the opening 3 games of the WSL. But you mentioned there 5 headers in a game. I wanted to know the stat. Has anyone won a 5-0 game and all of the goals been by a header? I think it shows where they get their goals from. Crosses, most of their build-up comes down in the wide areas. They've got fantastic wide players. But this season we've seen some real good rotation in that front line. They're a really exciting team, young team. And I think they're a dark horse maybe to push Chelsea for the title. I didn't say that before the start of the season. I'm saying that now. I've seen the 3 games for sure.
Very quickly, we do have to show you the Grace Clinton goal once again, because if she's watching this and we don't see it again, Gilly, I think she'd be a bit annoyed. What a goal in what was another big win for Spurs.
Yes, I mean, it's an unbelievable finish, and I think I watched her against Chelsea in the first game of the season. She was playing on the wide left, and she weren't really involved in the play, and I think in that clip there you've seen her, she's more central, she can dictate play, but to be able to have that confidence to take a touch out your feet and strike it the way she did. Yeah, beautiful goal.
Just like a goal you'd have scored.
In training, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say. She'd get a nosebleed crossing our break line.
That was actually the first league win for Spurs in a year. Let's take a look at what it means for a league win away from home, for Spurs, I should say. This is what it does for the Barclays WSL table. Then Manchester City are top of the pile, but only on goal difference. Leicester are still up there. Chelsea also on 7 points. Spurs are up to 4th. There were first wins for Arsenal and Everton this season, but still no points for Aston Villa or for Bristol City. Now, in the Barclays Women's Championship, bottom side Lewis travelled to second bottom Watford in a real relegation 6-pointer, even at this early stage. Now, it was 1-1 heading into the final few minutes until Grace Riglar grabbed the winner for the visitors with this header, claiming a vital 3 points for her side. Elsewhere, Southampton made it 5 wins from their 7 league matches with a 2-1 victory over Durham. Charlton beat Blackburn away, and there was a big win for Crystal Palace 6-1 over London City Lionesses. There were also good victories for both Birmingham and Sunderland. Southampton and Sunderland do remain level at the top. The Saints are at the summit on goal difference. Birmingham up to 7th, whilst Lewis remain bottom but move level on 4 points with Watford. Coming up on the BBC, the Monday Night Club rounds up the weekend's action, and you can watch that on iPlayer from 7 p.m. on Monday evening. England can all but secure qualification to Euro 2024 with victory over Italy on Tuesday. There is live commentary of that one over on BBC Sounds from 7 p.m. And Series 2 of the Football Academy is available on the iPlayer.
The Football Academy is back with a brand new series, bringing you closer to the passion and power of our rising stars. Experience the highs.
This is why we play football.
And lows.
Can't watch.
There will be more goals and famous faces than ever before. Watch our players tackle challenges.
Your control is insane.
Forge friendships and chase their dreams in
A brand new series of the Football Academy.
Watch now on BBC iPlayer.
Well, thanks as always to Gilly and to Farah. That's all we've got time for this week. Same time, same place next week. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Deep corner, free header, 1-0 Everton, and they have done it at Anfield again.